Everyone loves a good martial arts movie. Those movies where one guy goes into a room of 100 people and beats the crap out of them all with a classic punch and drastic kick so beautifully executed in terms of fighting that it becomes an art form. So here's my pick of the 10 best martial arts movies to watch across different streaming platforms, starting from my least favorite to my most favorite. Carter. When a deadly virus that turns people into quasi-zombies devastates most of the world, Carter Lee, a renegade super agent, wakes up in a warehouse with his memory gone. A voice in his head tells him that he is on a mission to save the life of an important person named Hana, who is the key to ending this pandemic. Carter soon realizes that he's being chased by a lot of shady individuals who also want Hana for shady reasons. So Carter goes on an epic quest filled with crazy action and martial arts to save the world and his family. One thing I love about Carter is the close-up camera angles, which seem to highlight the fight scenes and violence in pretty interesting ways. And the best part is, there wasn't an over-reliance on CGI. Like, one of the most prominent scenes in this movie is this huge helicopter scene with crazy action sequences, and it was all live action. That's just the crazy kind of things you see in these martial arts movies. Carter is available to stream on Netflix, and it's one of the best action movies on the platform. Revenger. In these heavy-duty fight movies, there's not a heavy insistence on story. We're here for the action, and that's exactly what Netflix's Revenger gives you. So this is Kim Yule, a police detective whose family got unalived by a mob boss named Carlos. And like any stand-up police officer will do, Kim Yule immediately tries to end him by any means. Sadly, he is unsuccessful and gets sent to a prison island where the worst criminals in the world go to. But the good news for Kim, Carlos is also on the island. So Kim sets out for revenge, making a few frenemies along the way and facing a bunch of Carlos's henchmen before finally coming face to face with the man himself. Revenger is a little gruesome, but the action is epic. This movie doesn't pull its punches in the slightest, so get ready for some balls to the walls action that pays a good homage to martial arts in interesting ways. Mortal Kombat 2021. I don't know about you, but I loved the Mortal Kombat reboot of 2021. I mean, as far as video game movies go, that was pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. If you haven't seen this movie yet, let me put you on. The movie mainly focuses on Cole Young, a down-on-his-luck MMA fighter who is a descendant of Scorpion, and he and his family are being chased by Sub-Zero. Cole runs into Jax and Sonya and Kano, and they eventually find their way to Raiden and Liu Kang, who tell them all about a tournament to protect the Earth realm from the invasion of Outworld, and Shang Tsung's plan to stop them. The movie is exactly what you would expect from a Mortal Kombat movie. Fan service.
Get over here!
There's also a bunch of heavy-duty combat, some pretty gruesome fatalities, a little bit of soul-sucking from Shang Tsung, and everyone being mean to Kano. And they wonder why he always betrays them. Still, Mortal Kombat was a pretty decent martial arts action flick, and it's available to stream on HBO Max. Furie. This 2019 film was honestly a breath of fresh air when I watched it, even though it plays into the overused plots that are often common in this martial arts movie, which in this case is the rescue of a loved one. Furie is a Vietnamese film that focuses on Hao Phuong, an ex-gangster who works as a debt collector to take care of her younger daughter. But trouble happens when Hai's daughter gets kidnapped and Hai is left to find the people who kidnapped her and get her back. If you thought you've seen movies where one girl just completely beats the crap out of men, I'm here to tell you that Furie will give you a run for your money. Damn, this lady can fight. Furie combines the exotic nature of Vietnamese fighting styles and the charming bond that exists between a mother and daughter. There's a line there and the movie walks on that line rather beautifully. Boyka, Undisputed. This movie shocked me to the core with intensity of the fight scenes. Scott Adkins shows once again that he is not only a compelling actor, but he also has those hands. This is the fourth installment from the Undisputed franchise, and don't even worry about it. You really don't need to watch the other movies to understand this one. It does very well as a standalone. Every single fight in this movie was so engaging. The hits felt like I was right there. Atkins is a former stuntman, so he knows how to execute the violent aspects to near perfection. You just don't see a lot of that these days. Boyka is simply about a mixed martial arts fighter named Yuri Boyka, who is famous for fighting in an underground prison ring until he eventually gains his freedom and tries to fight for real, but then he unalives his opponent in the ring. As a bid to atone for his sin, he travels to Russia to meet Alma, the estranged widow of the guy he fought, and then he finds out that she is in debt to a major crime lord named Zorab. So Boyka negotiates to fight for Zorab so Alma and her kids can be free, marking the emergence of some really high stakes fights that I guarantee will leave you at the edge of your seat. Scott Adkins is goated when it comes to martial arts. I'll say it as many times as possible, and you can go and see for yourself by watching Boyka on Amazon Prime. And if you want to get more of these videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button so you never miss out when we put up a new video. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So I scoured Disney Plus looking for a decent martial arts movie, and I mostly saw Raya and The Last Dragon. But then I remembered this beautiful masterpiece, and I thought, well, it is one of the biggest martial arts movies to come out in the last 5 years, so there's no reason why it doesn't belong on this list. So if you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, this is the story of Shang-Chi, a guy who was trained by his father to be the perfect unaliving machine after he lost his mother at a young age. The only problem is that his father is an immortal crime boss, and he has pretty cool bracelets called the Ten Rings. Yeah, we were all confused as well. It turns out that Shang-Chi and his sister Xia Ling have been running from their dad, but he found them, also he can incorporate them into his plan to resurrect his wife / their mother by traveling to an ancient mythical village where everything is not quite as it seems. Shang-Chi is a really good homage to the genre of martial arts motion picture. It's got everything: action, comedy, amazing soundtracks, and even a dragon. I mean, what's not to love? Kung Fu Hustle. As far as action movies go, some movies define just how wacky and outlandish this genre of movie can be, and I don't think any movie did as good of a job as Kung Fu Hustle. See, I told you it was wacky. When two wannabe crooks assault a village by pretending to be members of a notorious crime syndicate known as the Axe Gang, they encounter an impressionable apartment complex with questionable tenants and even more questionable landlords. Then, the real Axe Gang gets involved, and this leads to an all-out war between some of the denizens of the area. With some pretty rad fight scenes that absolutely defy the laws of physics, this movie is funny, quirky, and one that is dear to the hearts of all of us, with the insane fight scenes. The funny moments, and the, well, I'm not so sure what this is. Let's just say that Kung Fu Hustle is one of the greatest martial arts movies of all time, and it's available on Amazon Prime. The Night Comes for Us. This is arguably the best martial arts movie on Netflix, with a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes and extreme critical acclaim. Surprisingly, in this movie, the story is just as good as the fight scenes are incredible. Sure, it plays into a lot of the overused tropes in this genre, but there are a lot of characters in the movie, yet the movie managed to make them fit into their role cohesively, which I appreciate. The Night Comes for Us tells the tale of Ito, an enforcer working for the Six Seas Triad Gang, who got sent to cause an insurrection in a particular area, and they end up causing a lot of people to lose their love. Ito becomes remorseful and rebels against the Triad, while rescuing a little girl named Reina, which is a no-no. So now Ito and all who associate with him are considered enemies of the Triad, and this leads to Ito and Reina's lives just falling apart. When I tell you that this movie has some of the best fight choreography I have ever seen, especially from Netflix, this was absolutely stunning to see, with so many fascinating characters coming to the screen, and many more losing their lives. It's what I'll describe as a violent action-packed punch, meant to test your limits as a viewer. IP Man franchise. There are a couple of names that come to mind when you hear the words martial arts, and I guarantee you one of those names is Donnie Yen, and he is most known for his portrayal of IP Man. IP Man is the titular Wing Chun master, a historical figure who had a massive impact on martial arts as a whole. He is also known as the teacher of Bruce Lee. The movies typically follow the life of IP Man in different moments in the time, and the kind of battles and people he fought during that period of his life. IP Man started in 2008, then the sequels IP Man 2 and 3 came out in 2010 and 2015, and IP Man 4, the finale, came out in 2019, which I thought was a fitting close to the saga. But they're doing an IP Man 5 scheduled to release in 2025. Donnie Yen is amazing in these movies. The stunts and the dedication that these actors have put into this franchise, it's crazy. This is why IP Man stays on the top, and it is available on Amazon and even Apple TV+. The Raid franchise. On the #1 spot, we have the Raid franchise. This movie is an Indonesian classic that focuses on a group of SWAT operatives who get sent to raid a sketchy building in a sketchy neighborhood. Surprisingly, the criminals weren't exactly going to come quietly, so they decided to attack the officers. So the members of law enforcement have to battle their way through a horde of criminals in some of the most epic fight scenes in movie history. The second raid movie continues the story, with the main character Rama being sent undercover to investigate a crime ring as well as corrupt politicians, and still the movie manages to retain intrigue and really drives home the violent aspects of the movie, which is alright in my book. So these are the top 10 martial arts movies available across different streaming platforms. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and what are some of your favorite martial arts movies? Just let me know. And be sure to check out our other videos where we talk about more movies for you to watch out for. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching. Cinema Cascade.